Young black doctor changes bandage of millionaire woman. God sent. She had everything money could buy, except someone to help her heal. And he had nothing but hands that had saved hundreds, yet no one to hold him. She wanted a doctor who would feel nothing. But what happens when the one sent to heal your wound ends up healing your heart? This isn't just a story of class. This is about what happens when God sends someone not to fix your life, but to change your soul. Young black doctor changes bandage of millionaire woman. God sent. Watch until the end. You'll never see love or pain the same way again. Isaiah's morning begins like always, but his soul is tired. It was 6:02 a.m. when Dr. Isaiah Turner tied the laces of his well-worn sneakers, took one last look in the mirror, and muttered, "Here we go again." The apartment was small, clean, but not cozy. The coffee maker groaned as it sputtered out his second cup. He didn't need the caffeine. He needed something else, but he didn't know what anymore. He stepped outside into the quiet Baltimore morning. Clouds rolled low. Another heavy day. Isaiah was only 32, but the mirror sometimes lied and said 40. Tired eyes, hands like sculpture, a back slightly hunched from hours bent over beds. People said he was brilliant. He only ever nodded. Because brilliance doesn't matter when your patients bleed through it, or when the world barely looks you in the eye unless you're saving it. Today he had a full shift at St. Corinne's, a private hospital with a public wing, an ironic metaphor for his life. He entered the hospital through the staff entrance. Everyone greeted him. He smiled politely. Nurses whispered, "He's so calm, it's eerie." But calm is often a mask, a shield. He hadn't cried in 6 years, not since the night he lost his mother. Across the city, a mansion breathes loneliness. In a white marble estate perched above the harbor, Evelyn Crestfield sat in silence, staring at her reflection in a gold-framed mirror. Her silver hair, once perfectly set, now curled with unruly grace. Her right leg was elevated, bandaged, throbbing beneath layers of gauze. Another day, another ache. Not from her body, from something deeper. The fall had changed everything. One misstep on a marble staircase, and suddenly the billionaire widow who once ran gala circuits now had to be helped to the bathroom. She hated it. A knock came at the door. Her assistant Laura peeked in. "They're sending someone new today, young doctor." "Comes highly recommended." "Young?" Evelyn snapped. "I don't want someone still learning." "They say he's gifted, quiet, professional." "I don't need someone gifted. I need someone who'll keep their distance." Back at St. Corinne's, the senior physician pulled Isaiah aside. "Private client, big name, widow of Andrew Crestfield." "Crestfield? As in Crestfield Hotels?" "That's the one. She won't leave the house. Needs wound care. They asked for someone calm." Isaiah hesitated. "I don't usually do private home care." "You do now. She's difficult, but she's also a major donor. Handle it. You're good at being invisible." Invisible. That word again. It used to bother him. Now it just echoes. First encounter, the knock that changes everything. The Crestfield mansion loomed like something out of a film. Stone lions flanked the entrance. Vines curled across ivory pillars. Isaiah stood at the door, medical bag in hand, heart oddly still. The door opened before he could knock again. There she was, Evelyn Crestfield, 60, elegant, sharp gray eyes, a face that might have once graced society pages,
now shadowed by loss and bitterness. She stared. "You're the doctor?" "Yes, ma'am, Dr. Isaiah Turner." She blinked once. "You're young." "Yes, ma'am, but qualified." She paused, studying him. The silence felt like judgment, but Isaiah knew better than to fill it. "Come in. Don't touch anything." He stepped inside. The scent of expensive polish. Rooms filled with furniture, but starved of warmth. The bandage change. Evelyn sat on a velvet chaise, her leg propped up. The wound on her thigh had been partially sutured, but needed dressing. Isaiah washed his hands. Gloved up, he moved quietly. "This may sting." "Pain doesn't bother me," she said flatly. "It bothers the body even when the soul pretends it doesn't." She looked at him sharply, but didn't speak. His hands were precise, gentle. She flinched anyway. "Are you always this soft-spoken?" "I speak when needed." "You don't have to impress me." "I'm not trying to." Another silence. Then, "Why medicine?" she asked suddenly. Isaiah didn't look up. "Because no one saved my mother in time. I thought maybe I could save someone else." That silenced her. Two worlds, one shift. After the bandage was secured, he stood. "I'll return tomorrow, same time." "Don't be late." "I won't be." As he turned to go, she called out softly, "Thank you." He paused, looked back. "You're welcome." Aftermath. Both sit alone in thought. Evelyn stared out her window. Her leg throbbed, but the pain felt less cruel. In his apartment, Isaiah opened his Bible and tucked in the same prayer he wrote every night. "Let me help where others cannot. Let them see you, not me. And if I am nothing more than a shadow, then let me be the one that blocks their fall." Have you ever met someone who healed you without even trying? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to watch until the end. The twist will break you. Where distance begins to dissolve, and two broken people accidentally start to heal each other. By the third visit, Isaiah no longer needed directions through the grand halls of Evelyn Crestfield's mansion. The same nurse would open the door, the same long hallway, the same cold silence until he walked into her sitting room. But today something was different. She was already seated, leg propped up, but her hair was brushed more neatly than before, her robe satin instead of flannel. "You're early," she said, glancing at the clock. "I like to be." Isaiah began his routine: gloves, antiseptic, clean gauze. Her skin twitched under his touch, but not from pain.
From feeling. "You don't talk much," she muttered. "I listen better than I speak." "That's a rare trait." A pause, then, "Do you have family?" He didn't flinch, but the dressing in his hand paused mid-air. "No, not anymore." Her wall begins to crack. The next morning, Evelyn was already waiting when Isaiah arrived, fireplace lit, fresh flowers in the corner. "I don't like roses," she murmured, as he began the bandage change. "They're too proud. They bleed when touched." He glanced at her. That wasn't in reference to flowers, and they both knew it. "What flower would you be, then?" he asked quietly. Evelyn blinked, surprised he returned the volley. "A dahlia," she said. "Why?" "Because they bloom when summer dies. They don't need anyone to cheer for them." For the first time, Isaiah smiled. A cup of tea that shouldn't have happened. That afternoon, as he packed up to leave, she called after him, "Dr. Turner?"
Would you like some tea?" He turned, studied her carefully. "You thought you don't like company." "I don't," she replied. "But you're not company. You're useful." "Useful," he repeated with a smirk. "That's a new compliment. Don't let it go to your head." They sat, awkwardly at first. Fine china, steam, silence. "Do you ever take off your mask?" she asked. "What makes you think I wear one?" "Because only people who've been hurt speak in riddles." He looked at her. Then, without thinking, he said softly, "And only people who've been abandoned need to know who's hiding behind them." She didn't answer, but her hands trembled slightly on the teacup. Later that night, Evelyn opened a drawer in her room. Inside, a photo of her late husband, and beside it, another, a child, maybe 7 years old. She touched the edge of the frame. "I should have been softer," she whispered to the still air. "He wouldn't have left if I had been softer." A single tear fell, then she wiped it away. The next morning, Isaiah noticed the picture frame on her shelf. He didn't ask, but she saw his eyes flick toward it. "My son," she said suddenly, "we haven't spoken in 10 years." He didn't pry. He only said, "Sometimes people leave not because they want to, but because they don't know how to stay." Evelyn was quiet as he worked. Then, "How did your mother die?" He froze, but didn't bristle. She had shared. Now it was his turn. "Stroke. Complications. She was alone. I got there too late." Evelyn's voice softened. "You were just a boy?" 17. She worked 3 jobs to keep me in school. "So you became a doctor to honor her?" "I became a doctor because it's the only thing that made her proud. I stayed a doctor because it's the only place I feel worthy." Evelyn looked at him not like a patient, but like a woman seeing the boy beneath the man. "She must have loved you terribly." "She did, but sometimes love doesn't stop the world from taking." As he left that day, Evelyn said something strange. "Isaiah?" It was the first time she used his name. "Yes?" "You remind me of someone I should have met when I was younger." He tilted his head. "You still have time?" She looked away, but a flush of color rose to her cheeks. The next week, Isaiah arrived to find something unexpected. In the corner of her room, an old music box played, soft, sad. He paused at the doorway, eyes narrowing. "That song." Evelyn turned. "You know it?" "My mother used to play it when she thought I was asleep." A silence stretched between them. A river of memories neither had invited, now shared. "I thought it might comfort you," Evelyn said softly. "I don't believe in coincidence." "Neither do I." The wound on Evelyn's leg was healing well. 1 more week and his assignment would end. But that day, she asked him a question he didn't expect. "Do you believe God sends people to us?" He nodded slowly. "Sometimes I think people are the answer to prayers we didn't know we prayed." She studied him. "What if I prayed for healing and you showed up instead of a cure?" "Then maybe healing wasn't meant to come through medicine." She reached for his hand. He let her. "Do you pray with me?" she asked. They bowed their heads. "God," she whispered, "thank you for sending someone gentle in a world that teaches men to be hard. Thank you for sending a healer who doesn't just fix wounds, but makes them holy." Have you ever felt like someone was placed in your life for a reason? Tell us below. And stay to the end, because this story isn't what you think. Where emotions become too real and the walls they've built start closing in. Isaiah showed up that morning with shorter answers, no tea, no small talk. Evelyn noticed immediately. "Something wrong?" she asked as he checked her vitals. "No, ma'am. Just here to do my job." "Don't ma'am me. You've called me Evelyn before." He didn't respond, not directly. "You'll be fully discharged in 5 days. I'll hand off your care to someone else after that." She felt it like a slap. The way he said it, like a line had been drawn, and she was suddenly on the wrong side of it. "Why are you pulling away?" she asked quietly. He looked at her, eyes hardened by something unspoken, because this was never supposed to feel like more. The next day, Evelyn didn't wait in the sitting room. She stayed upstairs, had the nurse tell Isaiah he could do the wound check from there. When he entered, she didn't even look at him. "You're right. You're a doctor. I'm a patient. Let's not pretend otherwise." "I didn't mean it that way. You did. Evelyn, I asked God for healing. Maybe I got too greedy asking for company." His hands hovered over her leg, unsure whether to proceed. Then slowly he continued the dressing. But that day they said almost nothing. The music box was silent. Later that night, Isaiah sat alone in his tiny apartment. He held a photo of his mother. His eyes stung with memories. He could still hear her voice. "You're meant to do more than fix people's bones, son. You're meant to see their pain, the pain they hide." And yet here he was, pulling away from the only person who made him feel seen, because she mattered too much. Because if he let himself feel anything for her, he'd lose everything again. The next visit was brisk, sterile. But as Isaiah stood to leave, Evelyn spoke.
"You're afraid. Of what? That I might see the parts of you you've hidden too long." He froze in place. "You think if you care about someone, they'll die or leave, so you guard yourself like a locked door. You don't know me." "Don't I?" she said, voice soft but firm. "I've lived long enough to recognize a man drowning quietly." He turned sharply. "And you hide behind money and sarcasm like it'll protect you from the truth, that you pushed everyone away long before they could ever leave you." Silence. Heavy. Unforgiving. Then he said, low and rough, "I'm not what you want me to be, Evelyn. I never asked you to be anything." Later that week, Isaiah was off shift when the call came through. Evelyn had fainted, blood pressure drop, complications. Without thinking, he ran out of his apartment, still in jeans and a hoodie. When he burst into the mansion's foyer, the butler stepped back in surprise. "She's upstairs, sir. She's asking for you." Isaiah's breath hitched. When he entered the room, she was pale but conscious. "You came," she murmured. "Of course I did. Even when you said you wouldn't. Don't talk. Rest. Tell me you'll stay." "I'll stay." His hand lingered on hers. "Only for tonight," he added softly. "Then I'll make tonight matter." That night they sat by the window, silent, peaceful. Evelyn whispered, "When was the last time you let someone hold you?" He looked at her, not with surprise, but with pain. "I don't remember." She leaned closer. Her hand reached up, rested lightly against his cheek. "Then let this be the first." And in the stillness of the night, they didn't kiss, they didn't speak. They simply existed in each other's presence. Two wounds no longer bleeding, but not yet healed. The next morning, as Isaiah left, the house nurse met him at the gate. "Dr. Turner." "Yes?" "She hasn't smiled like this in years, not since her husband died." Isaiah nodded but kept walking. the weight in his chest tighter than before. He knew what he was feeling. He just didn't know if he deserved it. Back in her room, Evelyn sat with pen and paper. She wrote, "To my son, if you ever read this, know that I have met someone who reminds me of the boy I pushed too hard. He listens without judging. He speaks with purpose. And in him I found the forgiveness I never thought I deserved." She tucked the letter in a drawer and watched the wind carry away her regrets. For now. Have you ever sabotaged something beautiful because you feared it wouldn't last? What happened? Share in the comments below. We're reading everything. When life forces you into the arms of the very person you're trying to run from. Evelyn's progress, once steady, begins to falter. The infection has stalled healing. The doctors recommend more intensive personal care, ideally by someone who understands both her medical and emotional history. And without asking her directly, the hospital brings back Isaiah as her full-time home physician. Evelyn raises an eyebrow when he walks in with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. "You again? I was told you needed someone stubborn and soft-spoken. Guess I'm your punishment." She smiles, weak but amused. "Or my penance." Isaiah's new room is just down the hall. He's there all the clock now, checking vitals, preparing meds, reading to her when the pain makes her too dizzy to concentrate. He tries to joke about it one morning. "If I'd known this came with a live-in doctor, I'd have faked fainting months ago. Too bad, I charge triple now." But beneath the playfulness, something deeper stirs. The walls between them now are paper thin. It's 2:13 a.m. Evelyn can't sleep. She knocks, lightly, on Isaiah's door. "Can't sleep? Your tea's missing, or maybe just your voice." He makes her chamomile, sits beside her on the lounge chair. "Ever get scared you'll forget who you used to be?" she asks suddenly. "All the time. I used to be someone. Not just the rich woman in the papers. I was fire, passion, stubborn as a mule." "You still are." "No, now I'm this soft version of myself, this patient." He doesn't argue. He just listens. And that night, they talk until the sun begins to stretch across the window panes. One afternoon, Evelyn leads Isaiah down a hallway he's never seen before. She opens a door to a small, sunlit room, walls covered in unfinished canvases. "I stopped painting when Harold died." "Why?" "Because every stroke felt like grief." She hands him a brush. "Let's ruin something together." And they do. That afternoon, he paints a tree. She fills in the leaves. Their laughter is quiet, but real. Something is blooming again. Evelyn's lawyer, Mr. Caro, shows up unexpectedly. He pulls Isaiah aside. "This arrangement, it's not appropriate." "She's my patient. She's also a public figure, vulnerable, wealthy." Isaiah stiffens up. "Are you accusing me of something?" "I'm protecting my client. Be careful how close you get." Evelyn hears the tail end of the conversation from the hallway. That night, she says nothing, but Isaiah notices she doesn't meet his eyes. The next morning, Evelyn tries to walk farther than she should. She collapses in the hallway. Isaiah catches her just before her head hits the floor. "Why the hell didn't you call me?" he snaps, heart racing. "Because I wanted to be strong again," she cries. "You are strong, but you're not alone anymore." And that's the moment it shifts again. The line between caregiver and something else blurs. That night, Evelyn can't sleep. Isaiah brings her a blanket. "You always know," she whispers. "You're easy to read." "Then read this. If I asked you to stay, not as a doctor, but as Isaiah, what would you say?" He hesitates. "I'd say, I already have." She doesn't kiss him,
but she rests her head on his shoulder, and for once, she lets herself be held. Have you ever let someone in because you had no other choice, and then discovered they were the very person you needed? Tell us below. Your story might just help someone feel less alone.
Sometimes, the wounds that never healed are the ones we never spoke of. Isaiah's cleaning up the guest room when he finds it. A photo, cracked under its frame. Evelyn, a man, and a young boy, no older than 10. He doesn't ask, but she notices his silence at dinner. "You saw it, didn't you?" "I didn't mean to pry." She leans back, eyes distant. "That was Jonathan, my son." A pause, a breath she's been holding for years. "He died 14 years ago, drowned, at a beach house we bought that summer." Isaiah's throat tightens. "I'm so sorry, Evelyn. He was my joy, my second heartbeat. After him, everything felt like an echo." Sunday morning, Isaiah drives out of town to a church tucked between two abandoned lots. A woman greets him, gray-haired, soft eyes. "Dr. Thomas, you haven't been back here since the funeral." He nods. Inside, the pew where his mother used to sit is covered in dust. A younger Isaiah, barely 16, holding his mother's hand while she coughed blood into a tissue. No insurance, no help, just faith and desperation. That night he lights a candle. "I kept my promise, Mama. I became the doctor you needed." Evelyn offers him something few have ever touched, a stack of her old journals. "If you really want to know me." He reads entries written in grief, rage, longing. "Today I didn't cry. That feels like betrayal. The day Jonathan would have turned 18, I bought his favorite cereal and stared at the bowl until it went soggy. Harold says I need therapy. I need my son." Isaiah wipes a tear before it falls onto the pages. He holds those words like glass, delicate, dangerous, and unbearably real. A storm rolls in. Lightning splits the sky as Evelyn stares out the window. The night Jonathan died, there was a storm just like this. She turns to Isaiah. "You know what no one tells you about grief?" "What?" "That it doesn't shrink. You just get better at walking around it." He sits beside her, silent. "You think I'm too broken to love?" "No. I think you're finally ready to stop hiding your broken parts." She presses back one night. "What about you? You wear everyone else's pain like armor. What's yours?" He hesitates. Then, "When my mother got sick, I was 15. We were turned away from 5 hospitals. All said the same thing. No coverage, no care. She died in our living room. I held her until she stopped shaking." He looks down. "Every time I walk into a room, I wonder if I'm too late again." "You never were, and you're not now." Evelyn shows him a box. "I ordered this on Jonathan's 11th birthday. It came the day after he died." She never opened it. Isaiah watches as she slices the tape for the first time in 14 years. Inside, a toy camera and a note for the stories he'd one day tell. She weeps, not for the first time, but this time, not alone. They sit on the back porch the next day. No words, just the soft clink of mugs and wind through trees. "What are you thinking?" she asks. "That you're not who I expected. And that maybe that's the best thing about you." She smiles. They're no longer two people with pasts. There's something forming, slowly, painfully, beautifully. What is a memory that you've never shared out loud but shaped you forever? Tell us below. Someone might just say, "Me too." Healing doesn't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it's two broken souls sitting in silence, finally breathing the same air. The morning fog rests gently on Evelyn's rose garden. Isaiah waters the plants while Evelyn sits nearby, watching with quiet fondness. "Did you always love plants?" he asked. "Jonathan did. He named every one of these the ones that survived." He chuckles. "They're stubborn, like you." She smiles. "Like you too." Their laughter lingers longer than before, less guarded, more real. Evelyn finds an old vinyl and puts it on. Nat King Cole's Unforgettable. "May I have this dance, Doctor?" Isaiah laughs, but nods. In the middle of the living room, him in socks, her in house slippers, they sway. There's a crack in the moment, something vulnerable. She leans her head on his chest. "I can hear your heartbeat." "That's because you gave it something to beat for again." He tries to make jollof rice. She warns him she won't be kind. He burns it. They end up laughing so hard they cry. "I thought you were a doctor, not a kitchen arsonist," he teases. "There's a reason I didn't go into culinary medicine." She throws a spoon at him lightly. He throws rice back. For the first time in years, the house sounds like home. Later that evening, as they sit by the fire pit, Isaiah rolls up his sleeve to scratch. She notices a long, jagged scar. "What happened?" He's hesitant. "I was jumped on my way home from a late shift during residency. They wanted my stethoscope. I wouldn't let go." She's quiet. "Why didn't you ever tell anyone?" "Because in medicine, you don't bleed. You patch others up and pretend you're fine." She gently takes his arm. "You don't have to be fine with me." Isaiah tells a story about a patient who insisted on calling him Dr. Chocolate. She bursts out laughing, real, from the belly, wiping tears away. "I haven't laughed like that in years. We should bottle that. Laughter from a millionaire could cure inflation." She throws a pillow at him, but her smile doesn't fade. Evelyn is struggling to button the back of her dress. Her fingers tremble. Isaiah steps in. "May I?" She nods. His fingers graze her skin gently as he fastens the delicate pearl buttons. Her breath hitches, but not from fear, from memory, from feeling safe. "Thank you," she whispers. He doesn't step away. "I'm not in a hurry." They lie on the grass under the stars, wrapped in blankets. "Do you think we get to see them again?" Evelyn asks. "I hope so. But even if we don't, I think they send people in their place." "Like who?" He turns to look at her. "Like you." She's silent, eyes glistening. She reaches for his hand, and this time, she holds it.
Have you ever healed in the quiet company of someone you didn't expect? Share your story. Someone might need to hear it today. Sometimes the heart doesn't break clean. It tears slowly, word by word, secret by secret. A manila envelope is delivered to Evelyn's home. She thinks nothing of it until she opens it. Inside are documents from her late husband's trust. Among them, a private investigator's report dated months before Jonathan's passing. It details suspicious transactions in her medical trust fund, with one recurring name, Isaiah Cole. Her hands tremble. Her breath catches. Isaiah arrives that evening, cheerful, carrying groceries and a bouquet of sunflowers. She doesn't even look at him. Is that what this was? A sick little play? He pauses, unsure. What? She throws the documents on the table. You've been siphoning money out of my trust, Jonathan's trust. You used my pain to make a living. His world tilts. No, I never touched your accounts. Evelyn, I don't even know. Don't lie to me. I'm not lying. Evelyn, I swear on my mother's life I never... Then why is your name on the wire transfers? I don't know. Maybe it was identity theft or
Spare me. You knew exactly what you were doing. You wore my grief like perfume. You made me trust you. I did nothing wrong. Evelyn, please, you have to believe me. I don't know what I believe anymore. He steps closer. But you felt what I felt. I felt safe. And maybe I was foolish enough to think safety meant love. It does. For me, it does. She turns away. Get out. He hesitates. Evelyn. Out! Isaiah walks out, dazed. He doesn't fight. His heartbeat echoes in his ears. Her front door closes behind him, softly, but to him it sounds like a gunshot. Inside, Evelyn collapses to the floor, hugging the envelope to her chest. She doesn't cry. She simply rocks back and forth, whispering to herself, I was so stupid. So stupid. A small, unfurnished apartment. A mattress on the floor. A stack of medical books and ramen noodles nearby. Isaiah punches the wall, then sinks to the floor. Why does this always happen? He mutters. He opens his old laptop, logs on to an online portal, and begins looking at account records. He finds nothing in his name. Then it hits him. Oh God, it's Cole. My brother. My brother used my name. Cole, Isaiah's older brother, was knee-deep in gambling debt. He begged Isaiah to co-sign loans, to let him borrow his identity for just a short while. Isaiah, just out of med school, refused. Cole did it anyway. Isaiah cut him off, but now the past just found a way to ruin the one thing that ever felt right. She eats alone at the table. The music in the house seems too loud, too mocking. She hears the echo of his laugh, the warmth in his voice when he said, You don't have to be fine with me. She slams the music off. You liar! But her hand lingers over the remote, like she misses the sound. She finds it, tucked into the spine of one of her gardening books, his handwriting. Evelyn, if you ever find this, know I didn't plan to fall for you. I just fell, and when I hit the ground, you were already there, catching me before I knew I was falling. I don't have much, but I have the truth. I only wanted you to feel seen. You made me feel alive. If this ends badly, just know I loved you gently. I always will. She folds the note. Her fingers are trembling. Her chest aches, but her pride is louder. Have you ever misjudged someone you cared about, only to wonder if your fear cost you something beautiful? Share it with us. When pride sleeps, the heart speaks, but will they listen in time? Isaiah sits in his car parked a block away from Evelyn's home. He watches the lights flicker on inside her greenhouse. She's tending her roses again. Her silhouette moves with grace, but not peace. He holds his phone in his hand. He writes a message, deletes it, writes again, deletes again. Say something, damn it, he whispers to himself. Evelyn stares at a framed painting of her and Jonathan, a gift from a gala years ago. She touches the frame, then lowers it face down on the table. She goes to the window, half hoping to see Isaiah's car. She doesn't. But she sees a delivery van stop in front of her gate, a package addressed from K and Cole Medical Trust. She opens it. Inside is a notarized confession from Cole, Isaiah's brother. I used my brother's credentials without his knowledge. I never told him. He's not guilty. He just loved you. That's his only crime." Evelyn drops the paper. Her breath stops. Her hand hovers over her phone. She dials. It rings once. Twice. Then she hangs up. She paces. Dr. Montgomery, the hospital board chairman, stops by unannounced. "I heard about Isaiah. I also heard you two were close." "We were." "He didn't take that offer I extended, a scholarship program. Said he wanted to stay local. Said he made a promise." "To who?" "He didn't say, but I figured you'd know." Evelyn's face softens.
Evelyn sits alone in the back pew of the small chapel. The choir sings Amazing Grace. She closes her eyes. Tears slide down her cheeks. God, if I misjudged him, help me forgive. And if I pushed him away, give me one more chance. A warm breeze sweeps in through the stained glass windows. Evelyn visits Isaiah's mother in her modest nursing home. "He's a good boy. Always took care of me and Cole, even when we didn't deserve him. I thought he betrayed me. That boy wouldn't know betrayal if it bit him. He don't even let himself have too much joy, like he's scared it'll be taken." That hits Evelyn hard. He's not like Jonathan, but maybe he was a different kind of safe. She doesn't text. She doesn't call. She writes by hand. "Isaiah, I misjudged you. I let ghosts from my past do the talking. You were innocent, but more than that, you were kind. I may not deserve another chance, but if you're still the man who held my hand that night in the garden, then come back. Come back even just to say goodbye in person. I'll be waiting. E." She seals it, walks out in the rain, drops it in the mailbox, and waits. He opens his mailbox. The scent of lavender from the envelope hits him first. Then the handwriting, bold and precise. He opens it, reads it once, then again, then presses it to his heart. He doesn't text first. He knocks. Evelyn opens the door. Their eyes lock. No words. She steps aside. He enters. Silence. Then she reaches for his hand. Their fingers touch, and all the ache, the waiting, the doubt, melts into a long, slow breath they both didn't know they were holding. Would you forgive someone who walked away if they reached out in the rain? Tell us below. Someone may need to read your answer today. Sometimes the bandage isn't just for the wound, it's for the soul beneath it. It's early morning. Golden sunlight spills over the greenhouse, just as it did the day Evelyn first met Isaiah. This time, she's not alone. Isaiah walks beside her in silence. He's holding a bouquet, not of roses, but sunflowers. "Why sunflowers?" she asks softly. "Because they face the sun, no matter how dark the night before." She takes one and tucks it behind her ear. Their hands brush, then clasp. Inside the greenhouse, Evelyn trips on a small garden tool and cuts her palm, just a slight. She laughs it off. It's nothing. Isaiah looks at the small wound. He says nothing, but walks over to the same drawer where he found the bandages weeks ago. He kneels again, wraps her hand, carefully, tenderly, like before. Except this time, when he finishes, he doesn't move away. He looks up. This time, I'm not letting go. Tears rise in her eyes. This time, I believe you. They hold each other. And it's not dramatic. It's still. But in that stillness is peace. 3 months later, Isaiah stands beside Evelyn at a press conference. We're honored to announce the Dr. Isaiah Grant Community Health Fellowship, fully funded by Miss Evelyn Hughes. Gasps. Applause. Evelyn squeezes his hand beneath the podium. We believe in second chances, not just for communities, but for hearts too. Isaiah's mother sits beside Evelyn, teasing her about her too fancy cooking. "You gonna let him eat rabbit food forever?" she jokes. Isaiah laughs. Evelyn rolls her eyes. "He needs it. His cholesterol is a mess." Cole, sober, apologetic, helps serve plates. Healing, laughter, family. One evening, as they walk in the garden under the stars, Isaiah stops. "I don't have Jonathan's money, or his last name. Good. But I have one thing he never gave you." "What's that?" "A future. One that starts today." He kneels. No grand speech, no crowd. Just a ring. Simple, elegant, timeless, like their love. Evelyn falls to her knees too, wraps her arms around him. "Yes. I didn't even ask yet." "You didn't need to." The story ends where it began, in the clinic. Evelyn sits, waiting. Isaiah walks in, dressed in his scrubs. "Room 2?" she asks. "Room 2," he says. She stands. He walks over. Their hands brush. He lifts her palm, checks the scar from months ago. "It's faded. Healed well," he murmurs. "So did I." They smile. He kisses her hand, right where the wound once was, and the screen fades to black. Have you ever met someone who bandaged more than just your pain? Share your story in the comments. It may help someone else believe in love again. And don't forget to like, share, and follow for more beautiful journeys like this one. The end.